Dear students, we were discussing with chapter 2, Food through Digestive Tract. So let us continue the chapter. Today we are discussing on three main topics. So first we will learn about the role of saliva in the process of digestion. And then we will discuss about the mode of swallowing of food or the method of swallowing of food. And then finally we will discuss about the changes that happens to the food inside the stomach. So let us move on to the first topic, that is saliva and digestion, or the role of saliva in the process of digestion. So children, now you just think about your most favorite food item. Did all of you think? Okay then. Some of you may be thinking about chicken biryani, then fried rice, then porota and fish curry, and some of you may be thinking about ice creams, burger, pizza, so and so. So my favorite food item is chicken biryani. So children, while thinking about your favorite food item, what all changes are happening inside our mouth? You can see our mouth gets filled with saliva. Then what is the reason for that? From where do this saliva is produced? Do the saliva have any role in the process of digestion? So look at this figure 2.2 which was given in your textbook. Here you can see 3 salivary glands. So the salivary glands inside our mouth produces this saliva. So here you can see the location of 3 salivary glands. So the salivary glands secretes or it produces saliva. So inside the saliva, or what is the composition of saliva? What all things are present inside the saliva? The saliva consists of mucus and also it consists of 2 enzymes. So which are they? Salivary amylase and lysozyme. Then what is the role of mucus? Mucus makes the food slimy, or slimy means it is a fluid-like form. So the mucus makes the food slimy. Then what is the benefit of that? If the food becomes slimy, it will be easy to swallow. So for making the swallowing process easier, the mucus makes the food slimy. Then what is the role of salivary amylase and lysozyme? Lysozyme kills the germs that enters into our mouth. So how the germs are entering into our mouth? If we are not properly washing our hands before consuming food, what happens? The germs, bacteria all present in our hand will enter into our mouth. So this lysozyme kills the germ that enters into our mouth. Then the role of salivary amylase. Salivary amylase converts starch into sugar. So it converts starch into maltose. Maltose is a form of sugar. So children, just imagine you are simply consuming rice without any curry. After some time, after chewing, you will feel a bit of sweet taste. Then what is the reason for that? The reason is that salivary amylase converts starch into maltose inside our mouth. So maltose is a kind of sugar. So we will feel a bit of sweet taste. So now we understood that our tongue or our mouth or saliva have a role in the process of digestion. How? The salivary amylase, an enzyme present in our saliva, converts starch into maltose. I already told you about this. Salivary amylase converts starch into maltose. So this is a partial digestion. How? Starch is a complex food material and then maltose is a simpler form of starch. So here the complex starch is converting into a simpler maltose. So we can say that a partial digestion takes place inside the mouth. Now we shall learn about the mode of swallowing of food. Now observe this diagram. Here you can see this is mouth, and we consume food through our mouth and it enters to the inside our mouth and then it passes through this pathway and then it enters into food pipe. So this is the route of food. And also we can see we inspire air through our opening of nose, then the air enters and passes through here, and then it enters into the windpipe. So here you can see this is the junction through the food and air passes. This is a common junction through which the food and air passes. But we know that when we consume food, our food is directly entering into the food pipe, but it is not entering into trachea or windpipe. If food enters into trachea or windpipe, what happens? It may lead us to death. So it is not happening even though there is a common junction for food and air. So how this accuracy is maintaining, how the food is accurately entering into food pipe without entering into windpipe. Here you can see there are three parts that helps in maintaining this accuracy. So which are those parts? One is our tongue. Then here you can see uvula. And the third part is epiglottis. So these three parts, that is tongue, uvula and epiglottis, have a main role in maintaining the accuracy of the route of food or for directing the food into the food pipe. So how these three parts helps? Let us find out. So we consume food to mouth and food enters to our mouth, and here you can see this is our tongue, and the anterior part of tongue is known as palate. So what is the role of the anterior part of tongue? The anterior part of tongue, that is palate, that compresses the food into small balls. So the food is passing in the form of small balls, and then here you can see uvula. When the food reaches here, suddenly uvula closes this pathway of air. Uvula moves upward and closes this pathway of air so that the food will not enter into this region. Next part is epiglottis. When the food reaches here, you can see the posterior part of tongue helps the food to move over the epiglottis. This posterior part of tongue helps the food particles to move over the epiglottis. And when the food reaches here, what happens is the trachea moves upward, and so that the epiglottis closes the pathway to the windpipe. So when the food reaches here, the trachea moves upward and the epiglottis closes this pathway of windpipe, so that the food can directly enter into food pipe without entering into windpipe. So where is our food now? Yes, the food is just going to enter into food pipe. So from mouth, the food enters into food pipe, that is esophagus. We already studied about esophagus. It is a long tube-like structure. So the food from mouth moves down through the esophagus into the stomach. So I told you that food is moving down. So how the movement of this food is possible? There are certain movements, that is wave-like movements in the walls of esophagus. So this wave-like movements in the walls of esophagus is known as peristalsis. So this peristalsis movement helps the food to move downwards to reach the stomach. Now let us study what all changes are happening to the food that reaches the stomach. So look at this diagram. Here this is esophagus. Then this is our stomach, and then this is the initial part of small intestine. So now the food passes through esophagus and reaches the stomach. So when the food reaches the stomach, what happens is, here you can see at the entry point of small intestine there are circular muscles. So when the food reaches the stomach, suddenly the circular muscles closes the pathway into the small intestine. So just like shutting off a gate, the circular muscles closes the pathway to the small intestine. Why the circular muscles are closing the pathway? It is to retain the food inside the stomach for some time. Then what happens? the food retains inside the stomach for some time, so that there are certain glands present in the walls of the stomach. So the glands present on the walls of stomach secretes gastric juice. The gastric juice get mixes with the food and strong peristalsis movement takes place inside the stomach. So this strong peristalsis movement converts the food materials into paste form. So from the stomach, the food converts into a paste form. And after that, the circular muscles just open its pathway so that the food can enter into small intestine. So now I told you about gastric juices. Which are those gastric juices? The gastric juice consists of 2 enzymes and 2 non-enzymes. Then which are those enzymes? One is pepsin enzyme. Then another one is gastric lipase enzyme. Then which are the non-enzymes present inside the stomach? The non-enzymes include hydrochloric acid and then mucus. So the glands present in the walls of stomach secretes gastric juice, and this gastric juice consists of 2 enzymes and 2 non-enzymes. So the enzymes are pepsin enzyme and gastric lipase enzyme. Then the non-enzymes are hydrochloric acid and mucus. Now we shall learn about the role of each of the components of gastric juice. So we already studied that the components of gastric juice are pepsin enzyme, gastric lipase enzyme, hydrochloric acid and mucus. So this pepsin enzyme that converts the protein into peptones. This is the role of pepsin enzyme. Then what is the role of gastric lipase enzyme? It partially digests fat. So from this we understood that the digestion of 2 nutrients are taking place inside the stomach. Which are they? Yes, the digestion of protein into peptones and also the digestion of fat. Then about hydrochloric acid. The hydrochloric acid helps to kill the germs that enters into the stomach. So we already studied that the lysozyme present inside the saliva kills the germ that enters into our mouth. But some of the germs or bacteria may escape and may reach into our stomach. So the hydrochloric acid inside our stomach kill those bacteria. Then about mucus. What is the role of mucus? Mucus protects the walls of the stomach from the action of digestive or the gastric juices or digestive juices. We already know that hydrochloric acid, it is a strong acid. It can even melt the metals. But still, hydrochloric acid present inside our stomach is not destroying the walls of our stomach. So how it is possible? It is because the mucus acts as a security and it covers the inner layer of our stomach wall so that it protects from the action of hydrochloric acid or from destroying the stomach wall. But in some persons, the production of acid become excessive or high quantity of acid produces and it may lead to acidity. So you can see some people are suffering from acidity, and if this acidity persists, what happens is it may lead to ulcers.